When the Indiana Fever stepped onto the court to face off against the reigning champs, the Las Vegas Aces, they didn't just walk into a playoff game. They walked into a setup. A slow-moving train wreck officiated by the exact same crew that's already been under fire for shady.
If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe.
Inconsistent calls all season. You know, the one that already cost players momentum, coaches their tempers, and fans their last shred of patience. And yet they're back. Again, like the villain in a horror movie who just refuses to die. The same refs who let elbows fly, bodies hit the floor, and star players get mugged without a whistle somehow ended up assigned to one of the highest stakes games of the season. And nobody in the league office blinked. Now when Alyssa Thomas literally body-checked her way into a clean steal. Now when coaches like Cheryl Reeve got suspended for daring to call out the officiating. Now when fans started openly accusing the league of manipulating results to boost their golden team, the Vegas Aces. And let's be real, it's not just one bad call. It's a pattern that somehow always seems to benefit the same team. The one with the biggest marketing machine, the flashiest endorsements, and the league's apparent stamp of approval. Funny how that works, huh? The Fever are out there trying to build something real. Young talent, fresh eyes on the league, viral moments. But how do you win when the rulebook feels optional and the referees are playing favorites? Caitlin Clark can barely drive to the basket without being tackled, like it's the NFL, and yet she's the one who ends up with the foul. Meanwhile, Vegas? They get away with full-contact defense, blatant reach-ins, and nothing. Not even a side-eye. It's giving. WWE with a basketball. You're watching, but are you really watching sports? Or are you watching a scripted promo for the league's favorite franchise? Fans aren't just mad, they're betrayed. The officiating has gotten so cartoonishly bad. People are legit calling it corrupt. And whether that's true or not, here's the thing. Perception is everything. If your most loyal viewers start thinking the game is rigged, it doesn't matter what your intention was. The trust is already broken. And a league? Instead of owning it, investigating it, or even just rotating the refs, they've stayed silent. Like if they ignore it long enough, it'll go away. Spoiler, it's not. Fans are louder than ever, and the backlash is only growing. So here we are, one of the most important games of the season, tainted by the same officiating crew fans begged the league to bench. Now everyone's wondering, is this incompetence or a cover-up? Either way, the damage is done. You knew something was off the minute the ref crew was announced. Again, the same officials who've already been dragged for botching calls and stirring chaos in earlier playoff games. And now they're in charge of a win-or-go-home semifinal featuring Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Oh, it's not just déjà vu. It's a pattern, a glaring, neon-lit sign pointing to what fans are now calling the WNBA's biggest integrity crisis in years. Let's be real, this was supposed to be a highlight moment for the league. Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom, everyone's watching. The Indiana Fever, clawing their way into contention. And the Vegas Aces, the reigning champs, with all the pressure to defend their dynasty. Instead, it turned into a controversy-fueled circus with the spotlight squarely on the referees, not the players. From the jump, fans weren't having it. The second the officiating crew hit the court, social media exploded. And not in a good way. Comments flooded in. Same corrupt refs again? They're handing the Aces another win. This league is rigged. That kind of noise doesn't come out of nowhere. It's built on weeks, months of pent-up frustration. Let's rewind just a bit. Remember that other incident involving Cheryl Reeve? She had the audacity to criticize officiating after her team got the short end of the whistle. The league's response? Suspend her. Classic shoot-the-messenger move. Not only was her suspension a warning shot, it was a message to the rest of the league. Don't talk about the refs. Don't question the system. And whatever you do, don't upset the storyline. But fans are watching closely, and they've started connecting the dots. Because when the same ref crew that let physical play slide during earlier rounds, leading to injuries, chaos, and questionable calls, gets handed the most crucial playoff games, it raises serious questions. Not just about competence, but about intent. And then came that play, the moment that tipped everything into full-blown meltdown mode. Alyssa Thomas steals the ball with what looked like very obvious contact. No whistle, no review, just play on. In a high-stakes playoff match where every second counts, the refs swallowed the whistle like nothing happened. Now, you don't need to be a ref analyst to know that was a foul. Analysts saw it. Players saw it. Every fan with a replay button saw it. And yet, it stood. Another brick in the wall of what fans are calling a league-engineered narrative to favor one team. And guess who benefits again? The Vegas Aces. It's not just that the calls are bad. It's that they're consistently bad in one direction. That's the issue. That's what's setting people off. It's not random. It's not human error. It's a repeated cycle of the same refs, same teams, same one-sided decisions. Let's talk about the Vegas Aces for a second. A powerhouse team, back-to-back champions, loaded with talent, and, conveniently, the most marketable squad in the league. From a business perspective, they're the WNBA stream product. So when controversial calls keep landing in their favor, people start asking, is this just bad luck, or is the league trying to protect its golden ticket? Because here's the thing. If fans start believing that outcomes are being manipulated, that wins are scripted, and that certain teams are protected, it doesn't matter how good the basketball is. The trust is already broken, and fans are furious. You've got trending threads calling out specific refs by name. Long breakdowns of missed calls, blown whistles, and phantom fouls. Posts circulating footage frame by frame, showing what refs supposedly missed. Polls show fan trust in officiating at an all-time low. And the league's response? Silence. Radio silence. No accountability. No transparency. No explanation for why the same officiating crews keep getting recycled through the playoffs despite their reputations being dragged online. It feels less like bad management and more like deliberate neglect. The fan perception now? It's not just that refs are incompetent. It's that they're corrupt. That word isn't being thrown around lightly. It's become a centerpiece of every argument about why the Fever can't get a fair shake, why Caitlin Clark keeps getting mauled with no calls, and why any team that threatens the Aces' dominance magically ends up on the wrong side of the whistle. And if you think it's just online noise, think again. Viewership is starting to show the cracks. Fan engagement on official WNBA pages is tanking. Comment sections are flooded with criticism. Memes mocking the refs outnumber highlight clips. People are turning away not because they don't love the game, but because they don't trust what they're watching. At a time when the league is finally gaining national attention, when stars like Caitlin Clark are pulling record numbers and bringing new eyeballs to the sport, this is the moment the WNBA decides to alienate fans with biased officiating and league silence. It's almost poetic in the worst way possible, because instead of protecting its players, growing its audience, and leaning into the new wave of attention, the WNBA is getting bogged down in controversy of its own making. The refs aren't just part of the story anymore. They are the story. The worst part? It's avoidable. Fans aren't asking for perfection. They're asking for consistency, fairness, a league that owns its mistakes and fixes them. But instead, we get recycled officiating crews, coach suspensions for daring to speak out, and star players getting body-checked on national TV while the refs look the other way. The message being sent, loud and clear, is that marketability comes before merit, that the league would rather protect its favorite team than protect the integrity of the game. And that's the slippery slope. Once fans stop believing in the fairness of the outcome, you can't sell them the drama. You can't hype rivalries. You can't push playoff narratives. You can't build stars because none of it feels real. It all starts to feel manufactured, like a reality show with pre-written winners. That's why this isn't just about one bad call or one game or even one playoff series. It's about a growing belief that the WNBA has a referee problem and a transparency problem and no desire to fix either. And it's costing them. It's costing them fan loyalty. It's costing them credibility. It's costing them a generation of new viewers who showed up for Caitlin Clark and left because they couldn't watch her play through a constant stream of uncalled fouls. And it's costing the players too, because when the officiating becomes the main character, the athletes get sidelined in their own story. The WNBA is standing at a crossroads right now. One path leads to a league that takes this seriously, overhauls officiating, holds refs accountable, prioritizes fairness over favoritism. The other path? More silence, more recycled refs, more fans walking away. This emergency meeting? It better not be a PR stunt. It better not be another closed-door deflection where nothing changes. Because if the league thinks fans are going to forget about this in a week, they're sorely mistaken. This isn't just backlash. It's a boiling point. And if the WNBA doesn't fix this officiating crisis now, it might not get another chance. Not with fans watching this closely. Not with credibility on the line. Not when the future of the league depends on trusting the game. If you've been watching the playoffs and feeling like something's just off, you're not alone. The calls don't lie. The silence doesn't lie. And the outrage isn't going away. So now the ball's in the league's court. What's it going to be? Damage control or actual change? Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you believe the officiating is just bad or something worse? And what should the WNBA do to clean up this mess? If you're fired up about this mess like we are, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next scandal. Because if this season's taught us anything, it's that the drama off the court is just getting started. Let's be crystal clear here. The controversy surrounding the WNBA playoffs isn't a side plot anymore. It's the main event. And while the league tiptoes around the elephant in the room, fans are dragging it front and center, receipts in hand. The timing couldn't be worse. The WNBA was in the middle of a moment. National media coverage, breakout stars, a spotlight it's been chasing for decades. But instead of capitalizing on this surge of attention, the league has managed to shoot itself in the foot with the one thing that should be non-negotiable: credibility. Because no matter how many sponsorships you land or how many viral clips you post, if fans feel like the games are rigged or even tilted, they'll stop watching. Period. And this isn't just theoretical. Fans are pulling back. You see it in the replies, the fan forums, the drop in enthusiastic game threads. The energy has shifted. People who were once hyped to see history in the making are now side-eyeing every whistle, wondering if they're watching a sport or a scripted drama. It's not just the Indiana Fever or Caitlin Clark catching the short end of the stick either. This is league-wide. The message being sent is that if your team isn't one of the league's cash cows, you better prepare for an uphill battle every single night. And if you dare say something, you're out. Just ask Cheryl Reeve. Her suspension wasn't just about her comments. It was a warning. Keep your mouth shut or face the consequences. That move backfired hard, because nothing says we're totally innocent like punishing someone for pointing out a problem. All that did was confirm what fans already suspected: that criticism isn't just discouraged, it's punished. The worst part? The league didn't even try to justify it with real transparency. No referee accountability pressers. No public breakdowns of officiating decisions. Just silence, as if ignoring the problem will somehow make it go away. And in that silence, the conspiracy theories grow louder. Fans are now treating every game like an investigation. They're clipping plays, slowing down footage, highlighting contact in bright red circles. It's become routine. Something happens on court, and within 10 minutes, it's dissected on TikTok and X like a true crime episode. That's not normal. That's not healthy for a sport trying to grow. This is what happens when trust is broken. Every call becomes suspect. Every no call becomes a scandal. The ref's whistle becomes louder than the crowd. And the game itself, the actual basketball, takes a back seat. And make no mistake, the players feel it too. You can see it in their body language. The frustration when they get hacked on a drive and nothing's called. The hesitation when they don't know if the refs will protect them. These are elite athletes, and they're being forced to play a guessing game every night. The physical toll is real. When refs let games devolve into chaos, it's not just about the score. It's about safety. We've already seen stars take hard hits with no whistles. What happens when one of them goes down with a season-ending injury because the officials let them play? Who gets held accountable then? And before anyone says it's playoff basketball, it's supposed to be physical, sure, up to a point. But physicality without consistency is just violence. and violence that disproportionately affects one team, that's not competition. That's sabotage. You can't keep touting growing the game while simultaneously eroding its integrity. You can't sell tickets on the backs of rising stars like Caitlin Clark while letting her get body-checked with no calls. It's hypocritical, and fans see right through it. The biggest irony? This league wants a villain. Every sport needs one. That team you love to hate. That player who thrives on the booze. And that could have been a great storyline. Rivalries, tension, drama, it sells. But when the league itself becomes the villain, that's not marketable. That's a PR disaster. And let's not forget the players who aren't the chosen faces of the league. The ones grinding night after night, only to see their efforts undermined by blatant officiating bias. How are they supposed to compete when the rules don't apply evenly? What message does that send to the next generation of athletes watching from home? Oh, don't worry about talent. Just make sure you're marketable enough and the whistles will follow. That's not a sport. That's a script. And while we're at it, where's the union? Where's the player advocacy? The silence has been deafening. If there's one moment to speak up, it's this one. Because if the players don't protect the integrity of their own league, who will? Fans are trying. They're holding the league accountable. They're calling out refs by name. They're documenting every miss. They're amplifying every post-game quote. But they can only do so much. The WNBA needs to step up, and fast. Because the damage isn't theoretical anymore. Sponsors notice this stuff. Casual fans tune in and see a mess. Broadcasters are being forced to comment on the officiating because it's that distracting. That's not the kind of buzz you want. That's not growing the game. That's setting it on fire and hoping no one smells the smoke. There are solutions, obvious ones. Rotate officiating crews. Create a transparent referee accountability system. Release official reviews of controversial plays. Make referee data public. It's not rocket science. Other leagues do it. So why not the WNBA? Because if the answer is we don't want to damage the officials' reputations, too late. That ship has sailed. Their reputations are already in the gutter, and the longer the league protects them, the more it gets pulled down with them. Let's be brutally honest. This whole mess could have been avoided. One or two bad calls. That's part of the game. But repeated, documented, one-sided officiating in critical playoff games? That's sabotage. And now, the WNBA is in damage control mode, scrambling to address fan outrage after the fact. Emergency meetings, internal reviews, it all feels reactive. Like they only care because fans finally snapped. But this should have never gotten to the point where the fans feel like they have to police the officials themselves. The longer the league lets this fester, the more permanent the damage becomes. People have long memories when it comes to corruption, and once the narrative sets in, that the league protects its darlings and punishes dissent, it's nearly impossible to shake. So what's next? Does the league clean house? Admit the mistakes? Rebuild trust with fans and players alike? Or does it double down, hope the outrage dies down, and keep marching forward like nothing happened? Because here's the thing. Fans want to love this league. They want to believe in the sport, in the players, in the storylines. But if the league doesn't meet them halfway, they'll walk. And this time, they might not come back. So let's put it plainly. This is the moment. The WNBA can keep ignoring the smoke, or it can finally admit the house is on fire. If the games are going to matter, if the rivalries are going to mean something, if the athletes are going to be respected, the officiating has to be fair. Not just on paper, on the court. Because if fans can't trust the whistle, they can't trust the result. And if they can't trust the result, they'll stop watching altogether. What's truly wild is how preventable all of this was. The WNBA had every opportunity to clean up its image this season. A fresh wave of fans. Historic ticket sales. Headlines dominated by highlight reels instead of controversies. For once, the league wasn't begging for attention. It had it, served up on a silver platter. And then it fumbled. Hard. All it had to do was let the basketball speak. Let the athletes, Caitlin Clark, Aya Wilson, Alyssa Thomas, the whole elite roster of talent, shine without interference. But no. Instead, here we are, dissecting every missed call like it's the Zapruder film, debating the intent behind referee assignments, and watching fans transform into forensic analysts overnight just to prove a point. Because they've been pushed into it. When you feel gaslit by the league you support, you either check out or fight back. Right now, fans are choosing the latter. They're demanding transparency. They want receipts. They want to know, why do the Aces keep ending up on the favorable side of chaos? Why is Caitlin Clark, the most visible player in the league right now, treated like a tackling dummy while refs stand there blinking? And don't even start with the rookie treatment excuse. This isn't about ego or experience. It's about safety and respect. Whether you're in your first season or your 10th, the rules should apply the same. Because when they don't, that's not tough love. That's favoritism hiding behind tradition. Let's call it what it is. Some teams are being protected. Some players are being prioritized. And it's not subtle. It's blatant. And frankly, it's insulting to the fans, to the players, to the integrity of the sport. You can't tell us that growing the game is the goal while simultaneously compromising it from the inside out. You want viewers to stay? You want sponsors to believe? Then the product has to be fair. Not just entertaining, credible. Because even the most dramatic buzzer beater means nothing if people think the game was rigged from the jump. And that's where we are now. Suspicion has replaced excitement. Frustration has replaced loyalty. And until the WNBA gets serious about officiating reform, real accountability, real change, the damage will keep piling up. Because fans aren't stupid. They know what they're seeing. They know when a game is being called unevenly. And if the league keeps pretending otherwise, then all that progress, all that momentum, it'll vanish faster than a swallowed whistle. Now it's your turn. Do you think the WNBA is protecting its favorites? Are the refs just bad? Or is there something more calculated going on? Sound off in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because we'll be watching every foul, every missed call, and every league statement so you don't have to. This saga is far from over.